Hello, good evening, welcome. My name is Obedako, welcome. I want to share with you today self develop, self develop. Don't waste your time comparing. Don't waste your time comparing yourself with others and where they are, what they have achieved, and where you think you are, and what you have not achieved. Don't waste your time going through unnecessary emotional stress, difficulties because you don't sleep. You're comparing yourself with your cousins, with your brothers and sisters, with your friends, with your classmates, with those in your church, those in your area. You're comparing yourself with those who see on social media, WhatsApp, the classmates that you have forgotten. You think that maybe they are better, you're way ahead, and you are struggling. Or you also think that maybe you achieved something, you are ahead, and they are struggling. I don't think life is meant to be that way. So commit to self development. There's nothing like it. Most people only express the quality of the culture that they grew up in. So everything that the culture tells them, everything that they've been programmed with, that's how they react. Most people live all their lives in reactive, state, meaning that they only react to situations of life based on what they've been trained with. They are not proactive. They don't set their own pace. They don't set their own agenda. They don't live life according to a plan that they have developed. They only live life based on what the culture has placed in them. Self development is one of the things that can separate you from other people. It's one of the things that can really make you become great at what you do, at your dream, at your vision, at your job. If you ever commit to becoming so great as a person with your aspirations, there is nothing that you cannot do. It's a thinking, it's a state of mind, it's a disposition, it's how you behave. So if you, instead of you wasting all your time to be looking for where people are and what they are doing and what you are also not doing, rather look for quality of time to spend on you becoming better constantly. So start to look for things that will make you self-develop. That is how people become great in this life. If you're an employee, you can make the decision to become so great at what you do. So great. You can lift your skills, your way of work, your character, your personality. You can lift those things so high that the people who employed you will be so much comfortable working with you. Instead of you comparing and complaining and wasting all your life being filled with what others are doing, being filled with what where you think others have reached and where you have not reached. Become a student of your own life. Become so much committed to becoming better every day. Decide to become so much unstoppable. What is the English word? Unstoppable. You become that everything that you are involving becomes better, no matter where you left it, no matter where you start. So it's a decision. Commit to self-development. Self-development. Your resource in this life, my resource in this life, my output, my progress, my development will depend on my self-development. Contrary to popular thinking and popular opinion, everything that you are going to become in this life is going to have something to do with the kind of development that you have had as a person. Self-development is so key because it reflects everything you achieve. In spite of all the things that you're hearing, especially in that part of the world where you don't mostly hear of that. We don't mostly hear of developing yourself as a human being. What we do here every now and then is, go to school, go and write for some professional examination. What we do here is go and look for job. What we do here is go and look for somebody to help you. Those are the things that are very much popular. So most people feel like they are at the mercy of creation. They are at the mercy of the difficulties in their country, the difficulties in their family, the difficulties in their background. We don't normally hear of you can become what you want to be if you so much commit to becoming better as an individual, having a timetable, having a schedule to developing yourself, developing your knowledge, developing your skill, developing your work ethics, developing your character, developing your mind all the time. Those things are going to be responsible for the results. You hardly hear that. That's why most people waste all their time on things that don't develop them, because most people think that to achieve, to get results, to develop, to become prosperous, to get to your dreams, they will happen just anyhow. You can spend your life, you can become, you can spend all the time that you have on some other things, but then somehow, some way, something significant, something unusual, something that you are so much have a wish, you so much have wished all your life will happen when it is time to happen. That's why that's the philosophy of most people. Most people don't know that every minute that I have, every opportunity that I get, every chance that I get, if I focus on becoming better as an individual, if I have my own schedule to improve myself, to improve my knowledge, to improve my character, to improve my work ethics, to improve the way I look at life, to expand myself, to get results from the personal level, it will eventually bring a lot of results to my life. Most people don't have that kind of thinking. Most people don't have. I dare say, have been brought up not to look for self-development that much. People easily get offended if they see somebody do well. If they see somebody is doing well, they get offended. They don't even focus. They don't even look at, but this man or this lady, what has she been doing all her life? What has she been practicing with? What has she gone through? What has she developed? What has she used to develop herself? Or what has the other man gone through to become a person? What load can they take? How do they look at life? If you're talking to them, what words do they use? How do they think? How do they process information? Most people don't look at that. They just look at your age, and sometimes they look at maybe your tribe or your whether you're male or female. They look at maybe where you come from, and they think that they should do better than the other person. Without thinking, every one of us has a fair share of life. But the difference between men and women, after a while, will be what they have committed their life to develop themselves with. Life is just a reflection of the things that you have developed yourself. If you committed to becoming better, your results will become better eventually. If you committed to becoming somebody who is full of jokes and comedy and sports and always taking life at your pace, not being bothered about where you want to go, then that will be the results. That will be the results. Somebody else is committed himself in his room, his building. He has his single room somewhere, no bed. He just has his mattress there. But he surrounded himself with a lot of books, learning to create a future. If he goes to work, he's not playing. He's working. He's becoming the best worker. If he's building his business, he's not joking. He's always committed to becoming better than the previous day. Such people eventually are the ones who become great in life. So if you're an entrepreneur, or if you have a job, for instance, become somebody that they can so much depend on. Become somebody that they can so much trust. Become somebody that they can say, this is exceptional. We hardly get people like you to work with. Become so much committed to getting results at the place that you work if you're an employee. And let people, let people trust you. Develop that, because it's a rare, what should I say, quality to have, that you are such a person that people can trust you, trust your word, trust you with money, trust you to deliver the results, trust you to solve the problem. They know that you will work without complaint. They know that you will work without compromising what they have committed to you. Become somebody that somebody can give 100,000 to say that go and do this for me, and you will come back and give the account. Become somebody that they can commit a project to you, and you get the feedback. You give proper accounting of the project. You can deliver on time. Commit to becoming better as a person. Commit to self-development, instead of you, or instead of me, wasting a lot of time comparing ourselves with our friends, with our neighbors, with our schoolmates, sometimes with your other those people who come from what do they call it, polygamy, something. If your father married two or three, those people seem to be comparing themselves and seem to be in competition all their lives. They try to go to school so that they can beat the other mothers' children. They try to get better jobs so that they will be seen as a person who is more successful than the other. Those things for me are not important. You don't live life trying to become better than the other person. You live life trying to become better than the previous you. Last year what you achieved and this year what you achieve is really what you are really looking at beating, not your friend who has become, maybe you don't have, maybe you all started life with your friend. You're all 25. You all went to school, maybe college or something. And you finish after national service. You don't have a job and your friend has a job. So your whole agenda is to make sure that you get a better job than your friend. That's a waste of time. You spend your life becoming better at your dreams, at that which will bring you fulfillment, at that which will bring you progress. If you're an entrepreneur, for instance, don't waste time comparing your business with other people. Don't waste time trying to compete with the other people. It's not important. Focus on the dreams of your business. Focus on the product, how the product can become better. Focus on the team, how the team can become better. Focus on how you can enhance the processes. Focus on how you can streamline the income and maybe contain the expenditure. Focus on how you can get more projects, get more sales. Focus on getting better sales system, sales training package for your workers. Focus on getting the best of the team to work with you. Those are much more important than always trying to hear what your other competitor, so-called competitors, are doing. Because you don't become great by building a business by competing. You become great by building a business by the dreams that you have, the customers that you think you have, how you can beat the previous service that you gave them, how you can become the strongest in the field by what the people who give you money are saying. That's how you become great with your businesses. It's not so much uh, the other people and what they are doing and what projects that they are getting. It's irrelevant, or what sales that they are getting. What I've come to see is that even if people come close to the kind of business that you're doing, there's not so much that they can take, because it's not just about one component of a business that makes the business successful. There are so many things that come together for a business to become successful. So if somebody just comes to drop a price of the product, that's not mean that they can beat you. There are other things that you can focus on and win. For instance, how the team works, how you manage the finances, how you arrange your things, how you dress, how you serve your customers, how you take care of losses, the after sales. What do you do to your customers? There are so many things that you can put together than just wasting a lot of time comparing and going to cross check what they have brought, which product they have brought, they have brought, because the strategy that you have is really what is going to decide whether you are going to win as an entrepreneur, or you're going to struggle as one. So it's not so much. Nobody really knows the kind of gift that you're made of. Nobody really knows how much you can achieve with what you have. So don't waste a lot of time comparing. Focus on self-development. Focus on becoming better every day. What is it? What are the things that you can become better in? Those are the things that should get your attention. 90% of the time, you are becoming a person who's better than the previous person. A lot of people worry about people who maybe left them, or people who came to work and ran away. Those things, for me, if they run away, another person will come. The only thing is that are you becoming better? Are you wiser now? Are you committed to getting proper knowledge, proper skill, proper understanding, which is better than the previous? People should. Life is in constant change, and it should not change for the worse. It should always change for the better, and that one you do by becoming self-developed. You're committing to self-development every minute. So you are schooling yourself. You're not schooling yourself to go and write exam per se, but you're schooling yourself to become better, to understand life better, to approach life differently. There are things that probably they told us about 30 years ago that now I am questioning. A lot of things that they've been told us, they have told us that now I'm questioning. I'm questioning things about job. I'm questioning things about business. I'm questioning things about the development of our country. I'm questioning things about sometimes fate, how they taught us some of those things. I'm asking things about how to fulfill your dreams. What do you do? How to fulfill your dreams, and how to become greater as a person, how to live your life on purpose. I'm asking questions every day because I want to become better. The people who taught you previously, hello, Akubre, welcome. All of us growing up were taught by people. I'm not talking about just the people who taught us in classroom and like school. No, I'm talking about people that we learned from, people who were teaching us across board, whether on radio, on TV, with their books, with their inspirations. I'm questioning a lot of them, because after a while, the things that they taught us should produce results, should work, and Africa should be developed. So some of the things that we grew up with, a lot of us, if you are in my age category, we grew up with a certain philosophy that they taught us, and most of us have come to believe them. But after a while, we should look at them and look at the results and start to question. That's why I am of the opinion that you will become great only when somebody tells you that you are responsible for the life that you live, the results that you get, you are responsible. And so if you are the one responsible, then you will want to be the one who is committed to becoming better. Because the more load you can lift, the more load you can lift. If your strength can take 2 kg, you can only take 10 kg when you have trained, when you have exercised, when you have practiced. So, or you will stay at the 2 kg all your life. So the more you can take, life will only give us what we can take. Life is not going to give us what we ask, it's what we have trained to take. So the capacity that you can take out of life is as a result of the self-development that you have had as an individual. And this has very little to do with even academics, has very little to do with sometimes religion, it has very little to do with even the politics, it has very little to do with all the other things that they've been telling us. It has everything to do with, or a lot to do with, what you have become as an individual, or what you are training yourself every day to become. Because every one of us is training. Every one of us is training. So when you give up upon yourself, it means that you have given up on self-development. When you become desperate and become sad and you become depressed, it's because you're not committed to becoming better every day. A lot of things can minimize the mistakes the errors, the pain can be managed if you start to develop yourself well. There are situations that happen in your life, maybe in your business life. There are mistakes that you may have committed. There are mistakes that may have happened. Maybe some people came to commit them and they became very difficult situation for you. They seem to be situations that you probably could not overcome or you were not ready to deal with. Not because the situation was so much big, it's because of the level of self development that you have had. Self growth, the maturity that you had at that time of the problem will decide the size of the problem that your eye will see. How you think about any problem in your life is not so much the size of the problem, but so much the size of your development. Because the same problem that you think, for instance, if your business is in debt, you owe people, maybe you owe people 20,000 Ghana cedis, and you can't sleep. You don't want pressure at all. You cannot sleep at all. You are afraid of the insult, the disgrace, the naming, the accusation, people threatening you with all kind of things. They will take you to court, they will take you to police station, they will take you to Malam, they will go and kill you, all those things. If you live with this 20,000 and fear and you can't sleep, it's not the problem, is not the 20,000, The problem is the level of your self-development, the level, how you see this little problem. Somebody, human being like you, with two eyes, one nose, if you have one nose anyway, one mouth, 2 years, same human being. Somebody owes 200 million Ghana cedis and he's not afraid. He's not scared at all. He's actually taking more because of the level of his self-development, how much he can handle. So the life issues are not so much the problem that you think is so huge. Because some people want to always make their problems look like they are the only ones with any challenge in life. No problem is so much big. It's only big with respect to you. Somebody else has dealt with 20 times of those and they're still living and they're still moving around. So when you meet challenges at your job, or you meet challenges even in the business, and you become so much overwhelmed with those, and you think that there is no hope, it's not that there is no hope. It's because your self-development is not got into a place where it's more higher than the hopelessness that you see. Because it's not hopeless. It's only hopeless because of the level of self-maturity that you have had, the growth that you have had, the content that you have developed. So any situation that you have is not so much as impossible, or it's not so much as critical or as insurmountable that you are the only one who think. It is a big problem. People have gone through that and people have overcome. And they are people who look like you. Some of them you are older than. So it is the difference is self-development. The difference between men is the responsibilities that can be the things that they are responsible for. That's the difference between men. The difference between men in terms of achievement is not age. The difference between men or human beings is not even whether he's a male or female. It's not tribe, it's not skin color, it's not even education. It is the responsibility. How much you can take, how much you can solve, and how relevant that thing is to your immediate environment or to your country or to your community. That's how the world pays people. The world is not going to reward you just because you look fair or brown or dark. It doesn't matter. Or because you were born in Africa, or you were born in China, or you were born in America, or you're Chinese. No. You go to China, people are sleeping. There are people who have nothing to eat. You go to America, there are people who have nothing to eat. And you come to Africa, there are people who may have nothing to eat, and there could also be people who have a lot to eat. So the difference in life is not really where you were even born. It's how much self-development that you have had, such that when the troubles of life struck, they could not overtake you because you had developed yourself. You have become, or you had become strong So it's not so much of where you think you were born or where you think what privilege you have had. No, it's so much of the things that you have put in yourself, the things that the content that you have developed, the philosophies that you have developed about issues of life, about your goals, about the things that you're committed to, about the job that you're doing, the business that you're doing, the things that you are constantly updating, the things that you're constantly upgrading. Those are the things that are going to reflect the level of self-development that you've had. And those are the things that are responsible for our results. If you're going to succeed in anything that you're doing, it's because we are constantly becoming better and developing. So don't waste a lot of time comparing yourself with people. Instead of you wasting time to compare yourself with your friend, with your sisters, with your cousins, with your fathers, other man, wives, children, uh, rather focus on becoming better with yourself. So weigh yourself. Last 2 years, how did you understand, say, finance? And this year, how do you understand it? Is it the same? Is it the one on radio like Peace FM? Or you have read some books that have improved your way of your finance? How much maybe you had last 2 years, and this year, how much do you have? How were you performing at your job? What are the targets that you were meeting? What are the sales that you are getting? What are the projects that you are handling? Are you better off this year, or it has gone down? Each of them will show how much committed you were to self-development. You know, the things that will put fear in you last year are the same thing making you afraid of life. It means that your self-development is low. The more confident and courageous you become of life, the more hopeful you become, the more skilled you become, the more the proof that you've been committing to self-development, and that you've been overlooking all the others that are doing, because people have their life to live and you have your life to live. Instead of you wasting all your time looking at what people are doing and how unlucky you are, you rather want to use your time to look at what you're becoming. Are you improving in strength, in quality of thought? Are you improving with your skill? Whatever your profession is, what are the new things in that area? Do you know them? Or the ones that you know are the ones that are 30 years old? You're still practicing the old way. Meanwhile, technology has improved because you are not committed to self-development. But yet you know the car that your friend bought, you know the house that they bought, you know their 10th wedding anniversary, you know how many children they have, you know everything about everybody, but you never committed to developing yourself. If you are not committed to developing yourself, your results will not be that much. My results will not be that much, because human beings only reflect what they are made of. In spite of everything that they are telling us and all the things that I mean, my generation, we grew up with a lot of thoughts, a lot of philosophies, and I don't think self-development was that much widespread. I don't think it was a common thinking the way when I was growing up, that what you become is how much you have invested in yourself, how much you have developed yourself, how much better you are becoming all the time. I don't think that I grew up knowing those things right from the beginning. They told us to look for help from people. They told us that somebody else will give us support. They told us that some help somewhere will come. But after a while, I've seen that the results that you're getting, the quality that we are getting, are coming from the kind of development, self one, that we have had all these years. Wherever we are now is because we've been committing. We have committed ourselves to the principles of getting better at what we do, raising your knowledge, raising your understanding, raising your character, raising your philosophy. Those things are the things that eventually the results, the common results, are going to reflect our quality. And we cannot develop quality if you are not constantly becoming better as individuals. So you look at yourself and say that yes, 2018, when you see, the thing about life is that when it was December 31st, 2017, people were saying 2018 is my year, is my this. Those are just feelings. they don't mean that much. The ones that you're committed to do every day, those are the ones that are producing results. After January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, now we are in August. Any results that we have achieved, any results that you have achieved, they have come from the fact that you committed yourself to getting those results, not because you went for 31st night prayer. Those are just things that we have come to accept, and we believe them, even though we don't measure the results that we get. I remember 2001, they said the same thing. 2002, they said the same thing. 2010, they said the same thing. But if I look at my life, the results of my life, especially if you link it to, say, finance, they're coming from the place that I have self-trained, I've self-committed, the places that I've spent a lot of time. If it's my job and the salary that they are giving me, or they are giving me, those are the areas that are improving the finances that I have. So if it's business and I'm doing business, the things that I'm spending time on, the things that I'm developing myself in, those are the things that are bringing the revenue. So whether it's a quality of marriage, it's the same thing. Whether it's quality of finances, whether it's quality of your career, the things that you're helping people with, it's because you have committed to learning. Because the thing is that every one of us is developing self anyway, but very few people are doing it with a plan. They are rather committing, to looking at what everybody else is achieving. And life is said that people will force you to hear their stories every day. I tell you, with this social media moving around, every one of us, everybody is showing something. So if you don't take care, you pack your life and be comparing and be looking at what people have achieved. And your parents will also tell you, especially your friends' parents will tell you, your friend is in this place, is now whatever, a professor, is now a lecturer, is now all those things that they tell us. And you would, if you have not done much, as I've seen, most people who are not committed to self-development don't get more than average results in life. More than average results, because everything that they have ever done was given to them. Even if they read a book, it was pushed on them to read. For example, people who can pick a book and read and say that I want to buy this book, this topic, maybe I want to read about, say, let's say, product development. I want to think of how to come up with a product. And so I go to the bookshop, I buy 3-4 books, and I start to read about them. And then maybe I get some videos, I start to watch them. Most people don't do these kind of things. Not in a part of the world. They tell you that there is an accountant who never read any book on accountants apart from the exam that he wrote 20 years ago. He tells you that he's a businessman, but he never reads any book on entrepreneurship. Never. He doesn't study, he doesn't go for any seminar, he doesn't train. It's just the same knowledge that he had when he was a young man, same thing. So he push. They say that when you want to cut a tree, they give you 30 minutes to cut a tree. Would you use 25 minutes to sharpen the cutlass and you use 5 minutes to cut? Or you will use 5 minutes to sharpen the cutlass and use 25 minutes to cut? Each is a choice. But I think it's better you exert less energy in cutting a tree faster by sharpening the tool than rushing and not having the right information, the right technology, and wasting a lot of time. And you may even be beaten, you exert your energy and you have no resource. And that is what those who go through life without being committed to self-development get. The mind is so powerful. It's a tool. The mind. As a matter of fact, the kind of world that you are living is not necessarily the kind of world that you live in, because of the things that my mind will process and because of the things that your mind will process. People, even though we live in the same physical world, we live in a different world based on what the world that our mind has created. The world that our minds has, the mind that you have, the world that he has created. The richest people don't contain, he looks like a human being, to me. But I'm sure that when he gets up in the morning, what his mind is processing is so much different from the other man. That's why he has achieved what he has achieved. What he's thinking about is different. What the things, the words that attract him, the magazine that he will read, the things that he will spend his time on, so much different from the other poor man. That's why the other man is poor. It's not because there's something somewhere. It's because it's a choice. If you choose your life, we all have the same hours in a day. What I'm using my hours to learn and to put in myself, they are going to be responsible for the kind of results that I get. There is another person who is getting more better results out of the same 24 hours because of how he has created his world. The world that he lives in is so much different. That's why it's so much effective. That's why it's so much progressive. It's developing, it's expanded, it's large. The world, actually, if you look, is thinking beyond this earth. The whole world, if you look, they develop this, the people they call develop. The things that they think about are so much different from the people that they call underdeveloped. Because of what they have committed themselves to develop with. They're thinking differently. The things that the same 24 hours, the inputs in those hours are so much different from the rest of the world. If you look at poor countries, what do they commit the same hours to? It's watching football, drumming and dancing, talking about politics. Then the other ones are shouting and saying that they're calling on the name of God. Those are the things that the poor countries do. That's why they continue to be poor. The other countries that are rich, look at where they are focusing. They're focusing on productivity. They're focusing on improving technology. They're focusing on how to get better results all the time. That's how they're using their time. If you go to those countries, to those who are doing so well, these are the things that they're focusing on. They're focusing on achievement. They're focusing on results. They're focusing on getting better, improvement. That's what possesses them. In the same country, you see other guys with the shares off, shouting Manchester United. He works in a factory, they pay him £5 an hour, and yet he gets 8 hours to go and watch football. So he has no pension, he has nothing saved, he has nowhere to sleep. If they sack him, he gets his salary every weekend, he spends it. What is lacking is self-development. He's not ambitious enough to say that if I want to change my situation, I must become that person who deserves to change that situation. Nothing is going to change in my life. Nothing is going to change in your life until we are capable of changing it, until we are hungry and angry enough to change our situation, whether it's the difficulties in the family, whether it's difficulties in the business, on the job, whatever that we want to change, whatever that we want to improve, until we say that we are responsible. And if we don't have what it takes, then we must become what it takes. And that will call for self-development. Other than wasting your time and crying and weeping about who had an advantage over you and who didn't send you to school and who cheated you, who lied you, who ran away with your money. You went to buy land and somebody else screwed you and took your money, or you wanted to start a business and somebody else lied to you, put you into trouble, and you stay there for the next 10 years crying, weeping. No. In this life, things happen. So if any of those things happen, the only reason we still sit there and cry over that is because we refuse to grow. We refuse to become better. We refuse to improve in our thought, in our thinking. We refuse to look at life from a progressive point, and we refuse to grow in terms of our philosophy, in terms of our thinking. The moment you start to grow, the moment you commit to learning, becoming better in your skill, becoming better in how you handle your finances, how you handle your money, how you handle your relationship, those things will make sure that you change that situation. It's just a matter of time. If you're constantly becoming better, the results will automatically change. It must change because the person who created that results, which is not good, has changed. So the results cannot stay there forever. The results cannot stay there forever. So my name is Kwabena and Marie. I'm talking about self-development. Don't waste time comparing. Don't waste time comparing yourself with other people, with friends, and with all those. Everybody is living their dreams, and you live your dream. You live your dream. Most people will only live life according to the cultural strength that they have. So whatever the culture has told them, that's what is going to produce the results that they have. Become so good at what you do that people will look for you. Become so good, and you can only do that when you start to self-develop. Start to look for things that will improve you. If you work anywhere, become so great with the work, become so much passionate, become so much thoughtful, get results, become so much credible, honest, that people will always look for you and say that that guy is what is the kind of person that I want to work on this project. So become so much self-sufficient and self-reliable. That's what increases and improves life. Don't live your life waiting for somebody else to always be responsible for what your life is about. Lift your skill so high, lift your character, lift your ability, improve on your relationship, because relationships can destroy a lot of people. Friends can destroy you. If you decide to self-develop, look at the friends that you have and look at how much time you are spending. Those who are not going anywhere will stop you from going somewhere. So if they don't want to become anything, you cannot force anybody to become what they don't want to become. But if you are dreaming to become something, if you want to achieve something, look for people who are going somewhere, people who are desperate to achieve something, people who are ambitious, people who are committed to becoming better, people who are not comfortable with lack and pain, poverty, people who want to help people to succeed. Those are the people that you spend a lot of time with because you want to develop. So become unstoppable. Focus on self-development. Your output, your results, your progress are going to be directly linked to the self-development that you have had. Don't waste time on those things that will not improve you. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, or if you ever consider to be one, don't waste time comparing your business with other people, stopping what you're doing and going to do the other one because you're not getting results. There's a certain amount of time that every business needs to start to make sense. Give yourself enough time. Don't give yourself 1 year to succeed in the business. Don't give yourself 2 years to succeed in the business. Give yourself about 5 to 10 years to see success in any business. And so when you start and it's not working, continue to develop yourself. Continue to develop. Continue to build. Continue to work. Continue to get to the finances. Continue to process, improve the things that your business is doing. Because after a while, if you're committed to this over this time, you will see success. It's not magic, it's just a principle of life. Just a principle of life. So don't waste time trying to compare. Nobody knows what you're made of until you commit yourself to getting results. Nobody knows what I'm made of. Nobody knows my skill, the things that I'm gifted in, until I commit to self-development and practicing and getting results. And so when you give up on developing yourself, developing your content, and developing your outlook, you will give up when there is a mistake, when there is a problem, when there is a challenge, where there are difficulties, you give up because you did not commit to self-development. Self-development will make sure it's that thing. It's like elastic, it's like gymming. You become strong every day. Once you're developing yourself, you're building a muscle. You're the people who lift load whilst they are lifting and training. They can always lift the load and even add more to it. So the same thing. Self-development is actually exercising, training. It's the gym of life. The things that you were afraid of, the things that you meant so it was scared to you. It was scary to you. Now those things don't mean that much. It's not because the things have changed, but you have become somebody who is stronger now. So coming to self-development is that which will secure your future. Your future is actually your responsibility. It's nobody's responsibility. So once you commit to it, that future has nothing but to become a reality. That business, if you commit to developing yourself every day, watching videos, reading books, reading articles, doing more. If you work 3 hours, you work 4 hours now, you work 20 hours, whatever hours that you're putting into the business, those hours will pay off. Keep updating the knowledge, keep gathering data, improving the techniques, the technology that you're using. Just look at any way to become better. and continue to work, there's resource. There's resource. These are the things that all the other people who have succeeded, or countries who have succeeded, these are the things that they've been practicing. It's a principle of life. You know, it's a principle of life. But we we don't focus that much on that, and I think you should constantly create an atmosphere that you're becoming better. So you're always hearing something different that will improve your thoughts. You're always reading something that will improve your thought, and you give less time to things that are not building you. These are the things that will guarantee your personal resource and your personal progress. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.